Hey guys, a very good evening. So in today's video, I would just be discussing about how to analyze research articles, how to read research articles, or how to pick the most appropriate or important research articles. Now, this video is for someone who is new to research, who's just starting out, or even for someone experienced. There might be some kind of opinions or tips that might be helpful for you, and which might make you more efficient at reading research articles. And in fact, for someone who's starting out or in their masters or PhD, they would want to know what are the good ways or good practices of reading research articles and being efficient, and at the same time following up with these research articles, because nowadays you would have seen that so much literature is being published that it is very difficult to keep track with each and every article that is being published. So you have to be very selective about what you're giving your time to. Okay, because of course you can't just read all the time, you have to do experiments as well. And apart from that, if you have other interest apart from research, which you definitely should have, then it becomes all the more important to read these research articles efficiently, right? As far as my credentials are concerned, some of you might be new to the channel, so just let me tell you that I have done my PhD in medicinal chemistry recently, and I have joined as a scientist at a pharmaceutical R&D organization which is based out of India. Okay, now first let's talk about how do we select or how do we read research articles. Like how do we make this decision that whether this research article is worth reading or not? So before you invest your time into a particular article, how do we know whether it's worth our time or not? So the first thing is that there's a method also that has been developed, for which I'll give you the PDF down in the description box. That is done by one of the professors at Canada. And he calls it the 3-pass method. Okay, now I've derived some of the inputs over here from that research article or from that particular article, but apart from that, I'm also going to give you some of my inputs. So anyway, so I'm not going to be talking about the 3-pass method. You can read it by yourself. The link will be down in the description box of the PDF. The first thing is you read the abstract of the research article. Okay, so whenever you're going through a particular article which you think it's interesting, of course you'll read the title. After the title, you read the abstract. Okay, what is written in the abstract, because abstract is like a small summary of the things that they have done. Apart from that, you can see the keywords. If it is something related to your research, the research that you're pursuing, then you can look at the keywords as well. And then finally, what you can do is look at the references of the research article. That are those references that have been mentioned in the research article. Are they the ones which are relevant to your work? Because if you are doing research, of course you might be aware of the prominent authors or prominent research that has been done in your area. So does that particular article cite some of your research that is done by prominent authors? Because if it does, then you would know, okay, this research article might be of my interest because it cites the same research articles that are very prominently known in my particular domain. Okay, so that is one thing. So you read the title, you read the abstract, and you see the references. Sometimes the abstracts are not very well written. Okay, so you might think that it is not relevant to your work, but it might be. Right, so that is why it is also important, just to be confirmed, just to be sure, you have to go through the references also. Okay, and one good thing about that is, let's say you don't have access to those research articles, but still you can see the references. Okay, you can still see the abstract, you can still see the title, you can still see the keywords. So from here you will have an understanding that, okay, whether it is worthwhile for me to get the access to that research article or not. Right, so in case you don't have access, you can always ask your friends who have access to a research article in various organizations or institutes, or you could download from third-party applications like Mendeley. Sci-Hub is also there. So from there also you can download these particular research articles, right? So once you see that, okay, this might be relevant to my particular domain, you download that, and the first thing that you go through is introduction. Now, it is not always important that it should be relevant to your domain. Sometimes you would want to read it for leisure or for understanding also. Let's say there is a topic which is not of your research immediate research interest, but that is something which you find interesting. So of course you can go ahead and read that particular aspect as well, or read that research article as well. So that is up to you to decide. Okay, so if you find something interesting, of course you'll go through the abstract. If you find it interesting, you can go and read about it. But I can tell you this, that the time that you get for leisure reading is very, very less, right? You don't get time for leisure reading. You have other interests as well, I'm sure. So that is why I'm recommending that for leisure interest you can definitely read articles. I'm talking about how to get how to stay well versed with the domain of your interest or the domain in which you are going to pursue research. I'm specifically talking about that. I'm not talking about leisure reading over here. Now, when you're reading that research article, the first thing is, if it is of a topic which you understand really well, you can skip the introduction. Okay, you don't need to go through the introduction again. Maybe the second half of the introduction you can go through quickly to understand what they have done. Okay, because they will write in this particular article, we have tried to address a particular issue. So what issue they have tried to address, that might be given in the second half of the introduction section. Also, after you have read the second half of the introduction, which gives you some idea of what the researchers have tried to do, go through the conclusion section before you go through the discussion section or the method section. So method section will describe what are the methods they use to do the research or try to come to the conclusions on what they have mentioned in the research article. And the discussion section is where they are detailing what all observations they have made. Before going through that, you should also go through the figures and the conclusion. Now, what that does is it tells you whether whatever conclusions the authors have made, are they sound or not. And when you go through the figures, you get an idea, figures and graphs. Basically, when I say figures, it means graphs and various representations that they have shown. That gives you an idea of how authentic or how well written is the research article, okay, or how well documented is the research article, right? What all characterization techniques they have used. Now, it's not that if something is mentioned in a research article, it is always true. That's not the case. Okay, sometimes their conclusions or sometimes their observations might be incorrect. Okay, so you need to see that how the graphs have been represented, how the research has been presented in the figures, and how it has been documented in the conclusion section. So that gives you an idea of the quality of the research article. If you feel that the quality is not that great, it doesn't make sense what they're trying to conclude, or whatever representations or whatever characterization techniques they have utilized to prove their theory, it doesn't make sense, then there's no point in contributing that to that particular, or giving your time to that research article. So you can avoid that research in that particular case. In case everything till now makes sense, that you have seen the abstract, title, references, you have seen the second half of the introduction, and you have seen the conclusion. If all is making sense and you have seen, you have given a glance to the research article, you have not thoroughly actually seen the research article or analyzed the research article, but you have given a glance. If all seems well after this, then you can invest your time in starting to now understand what has been done and how they have done it. And this, depending upon how experienced you are at it, will take time. If you are a newbie, or you've just started out research, it might take 5 to 6 hours, maybe more, sometimes 8-9 hours, sometimes the whole day it might take for you to understand what they have done. Okay, but that's not something that you should be worried about. It will take time initially. Once you get more and more familiar with the principles and what kind of techniques they are using, it will become easy for you. And sometimes understanding the language of a research article also becomes really tough. Okay, so once you have done these two aspects and you think that everything is falling in place, then you can give your time and start reading the research article thoroughly. Now, when you start analyzing the research article, the first and the most important thing that you need to understand, and this is a mistake that is done by early researchers, is that they assume that whatever is written in a research article has been peer reviewed. Okay, it has been seen by experts in that field. So whatever is being mentioned in that research article is absolutely correct. That's a very, very big blunder that you'll be making if you do that. Okay, you have to you have to critically analyze each and every aspect in that research article, and you have to assume that whatever is written is incorrect. You have to actually see that what argument are they providing to come to a particular conclusion or to come to a particular observation. Sometimes the data they are showing, based on which they are making a particular conclusion, might not be very logical. So you have to actually critically analyze each and every aspect. Think of yourself as a reviewer. You are trying to review that article rather than just analyzing or reading that article. Okay, so don't assume that whatever is written in the article is absolutely correct. Also try to see whatever they are trying to prove. Is it the most efficient way or the best way to actually prove that particular hypothesis? If they are making some observations based on some kind of experimental evidence they have got, then try and see that whatever experiment they have done, does it make sense? Can someone do a more simpler experiment and come to the same conclusion? Okay, so just try to, what I mean by this is just try and critically analyze each and every article, and not just critically analyze, but also try to see the good bits in that article. Okay, so it's not just, you just have to be very critical about the research article and tell them what a shabby work they have done. It's not supposed to be like that. You also have to appreciate the good bits, the novel things that they have done, or something which you did not think of, can be done in that particular research field. So you need to appreciate their efforts as well, and also try and see if this work could be extended further, or are there some things that they did not address which you might be able to address. Basically try and find research gaps in a particular article, that what all things they have not addressed. And most of the good articles in the conclusion section, they will themselves point out the things that this particular study could not address, or what could be further done in that field. So good articles will mention that in the conclusion section. So that will also give you an idea that what could be done, how can this study or how can this work be extended in this domain, or what are the gaps in our understanding in that particular domain which you need to address. So on reading research articles by yourself also, you can generate ideas, and most of the good authors will themselves mention in the research article what are the things that need to be addressed which have not been addressed till now in that particular domain. Also, if there's a domain that you do not understand really well, like you are interested in that field but you do not know much about the field, so if you try to read research articles in that particular field, it will become really difficult for you to understand what all they are doing. So for such things, what you could do is try to look for review articles at first on that particular topic, in whichever you are interested in reading the research paper. Try and see if there are some good review articles in good journals. Now, good journals, of course, when you interact with a lot of researchers, you will get an idea of what all good journals are there. Like, for example, I work in the field of drug discovery. So like a few of the good journals are like Medicinal Research Reviews, Nature Reviews Drug Discovery, Journal of Medicinal Chemistry, European Journal of Medicinal Chemistry, Drug Discovery Today. Drug Discovery Today is absolutely, for reviews. So they publish some really good reviews in the field of drug discovery. Nature Reviews Drug Discovery, like I mentioned, and there are many more journals. So once you start having some kind of expertise, you will see that you will know what all important or what all authentic journals are there which publish some really good research. Okay, so to get an idea of a particular research topic, you can always go through these reviews. And then there are some journal review journals as well, like ChemSoc Reviews is there, Chemical Society Reviews, then Accounts of Chemical Research is there, Chemical Reviews is there. So these are some journals which publish some very, very authentic and very detailed review articles to get an understanding of a particular topic, right? So you can always go through these review articles before actually going to the research if you don't understand that particular topic really well. Or the other thing that you can do is you can go to the introduction section of that research article, and in the introduction section they will give you some citations to some previous articles. Okay, of course, whenever someone has written a research article, they will write an introduction section wherein they will try to introduce the main topic of the particular research they have done. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to go to the references that they have cited in the introduction section and go to the references and try to understand that field in a better way. And this can go on, like let's say from the main research article that you want to understand, you got a reference to some previous article, then you go to that previous article, then you try and read that article. If you're still not able to understand, then you read the introduction section, see what all references are there, and then go back to the previous research article. So like that, you have to go back and back and back till the time you reach a research article wherein you start understanding what they are doing. Okay, so you have to reach to the starting point maybe if you're not able to understand throughout the back references that you have gone through. Okay, so this is also one aspect that you can explore to really understand that particular topic. But this much effort you need to put in only if you are genuinely interested in that particular domain, right? And even though I have already addressed this point, I would still like to again emphasize that please try and challenge the assumptions of the authors. This is very important. Okay, you need to challenge the assumptions of the authors. If you do that, that's absolutely great. That means you are reading the article well, and that will also generate a power of critical thinking, which is very important while you are doing peer review also. So when you right now you might be early in your career in research, but later on when you when you yourself become a professor, you would have to review different articles. So this is where the ability of critically analyzing and challenging the assumptions of the authors would be really helpful. Okay, and that will also put you can say it also tells you that how well you understand the topic, because I believe that there are very few articles that will be perfect, so to say, like from A to Z they are absolutely great. Okay, there are always some flaws with research articles. Maybe they have not addressed something, or they have made an assumption which is not absolutely true. So when you start critically analyzing and trying to try to find what all mistakes that are there, or what all things that could have been done better, you yourself become a better person, or a better researcher, I would say. So when you are addressing a particular, or when you are writing a research article, you will know what all things you need to address, okay, or what all things you need to be sure about before actually writing it in a particular manuscript. Okay, so that way you will become a better researcher, like I said. In fact, in many good institutes abroad, and even some of the institutes in India, I think maybe JNCSR or IASC, or maybe both of them, I'm not sure. So in JNCSR, I think, I'm sure that I think at master's or at PhD level, when you're doing literature survey, you need to pick out the best research articles in a particular domain, right? Like from nature articles, like Nature Communications or Nature Chemistry. You need to pick out those research articles that have been published and give a presentation on what all things are incorrect, or what all things are not totally appropriate that they have done in a particular article. So challenging articles, or challenging the assumptions of articles that are published in these reputed journals like Nature, Science, or JACS or Chemical Science, it's absolutely you can say difficult thing for an early researcher to do, because these people who publish in these, or these authors who publish in these journals are at the top of the field, and to challenge their assumptions or to critically analyze their research articles is a very tough thing. Now coming to the question on how to do literature survey. So literature survey is basically trying to understand what all research work has been carried out in the domain that you are interested in. So basically, when you are a master's student, or when you are a PhD student and you are starting out on a particular topic, you would want to know what all research has been done in your field. So your supervisor or your guide would ask you to do some literature survey on the particular topic that you would be pursuing your project in, or you would be pursuing your PhD in. So a lot of students struggle with the aspect of how to actually do literature survey. So there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. First thing is, if you find a review article, in a recent review article, in, like, for example, if you are doing research in 2021, so if you find a review article in 2021 or 2020 in journals like ChemSoc reviews, chemical reviews, or accounts of chemical research, these are the most thorough review articles that you will find on any particular topic. So if you find a research article, if you find a review article on the topic of your interest in these two journals, in these 3 or 4 journals, there might be more. I'm just telling you the ones that are immediately coming to my mind. If you find the review articles in these journals in the last 1 or 2 years, your job is done. Okay, they will cover each and every freaking review article or research article that has been published in that particular domain, and they are the experts. So if they are writing review articles, they are absolutely thorough if they are being published over here, and they are absolutely giants in their domain. Okay, so your job of literature survey is done. Count yourself very lucky, and that's all. You don't need to do much literature survey in that case. Now, if you don't find any good review articles on the topic that you're interested in, latest review articles, then you of course need to rely on search engines, which will search the articles in that particular topic. In that case, you need to be good with keywords. What all keywords you need to input so that you get the appropriate research articles. Okay, so if you have access to SciFinder or Reaccess, which are paid search engines to search research articles, that's great. But if you don't have the access to these two search engines, then you can of course use Google Scholar. And now over here you have to be very good with the keywords. Okay, keywords are very, very important. Now, how you can get an understanding of what are the important keywords in your research area is that you read a couple of 3 or 4 articles on the topic of your interest, or on the topic which you want to pursue research in, and try to see what are the common keywords that have been mentioned in all those 4 articles, or 4, 5, whatever number of articles that you are having a look at. So from there you will understand, okay, these are the important keywords which will lead me to the research articles in that particular domain. So you can always do that. That is one thing. Okay, then you can search it on Google Scholar and try to find out the latest research. Also, most of the major research that has been done on your topic will be cited in different research articles. Okay, so once you're reading through a research article, you will find, okay, this research article has been cited by these and these articles. Like, so let's say some research on your topic has been done in the year 2000. Okay, so whatever research articles are citing that particular research that has been done in the year 2000, that will basically lead you to some more research articles. Then when you go through those research articles, you will find, okay, these research articles have been cited by more recent articles. So like that, clicking on the clicking on the articles that have cited a very old study in your domain will lead you to the new study, So like that, you can have a idea of what all research has been done. Also, you will see that there are some groups which are actively pursuing research in your field. Okay, so what you can do is you can go to the group web pages. So let's say there is some author who is publishing very, very frequently, or has been publishing for a long time in a particular area of research which you are interested in. Then you can search for the author on Google Scholar, or you can just search it on Google itself, and you will be taken to the group web page. Most of the authors nowadays, at least foreign authors, have a group web page. So from there you will get an idea of what all is the latest research they have published in that in their lab. So from there you will have an idea, okay, this is the latest research they have done. And if they are pursuing research for a long time in a particular area, then of course they would be publishing latest research also in that area as well. So that will also give you an idea, okay, this is the latest research that has been published in my particular domain. So like that, you can do the literature survey. So everything is interconnected. Okay, you have to go through the good articles published in high impact journals or very well reputed journals, and try to see what all articles have cited those have cited that particular research. From there you will get to the latest research articles. Okay, so I'll just repeat once more. Like, there's a research article that has been published in the area of your interest in the year 2000. Let's say it has been cited by 200 research articles. Okay, then you will go through those 200 research articles, and you will find some of those 200 articles are related to your research area. Then after that, you will find that out of those 200 articles, let's say 50 articles you shortlist. Okay, that these are the articles that are of my area. Out of those 50 articles, again you will see each and every article has been cited by some other articles. Okay, then you will go to those articles. So like that, it will become a big chain of research articles, and that way it is likely that you will not miss out any research that has been done in your domain. So this is another way that by which you can do literature survey. And of course, you don't have to go through each and every research that has been done. Like I said, okay, some of them are not very thorough research articles. Over there, you can just read the abstract, the conclusion, and get an idea of what they have done. In fact, even you will become more and more experienced, you will understand that you don't need to go through the research articles. Okay, sometimes many of the articles are done in the same way. The characterization techniques are also the same. So you just need to look at the abstract. You just need to see the conclusion, and that's all. You don't have to go through the whole article. Okay, only when you are going through more thorough articles, or if you are going through an article which is not of your field, okay, you don't understand that domain really well, only in that case you need to be very, very thorough with the research articles. Okay, so anyway, I think this has become a really long video. I did not intend it to make it this long. Hopefully I can come up with a shorter version too. I wish that this video helps you out in some way. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video really soon. Hey guys, so I'm a verified educator on Unacademy, and along with that, I'm also available on the Unacademy Plus platform, where I'm taking live classes along with other educators. So in case you're interested in attending the live classes, you can subscribe to the Unacademy Plus platform using my referral code, that is SETHI, and that will give you 10% discount. Alright, and in case you're not interested in attending the live classes, you can watch the free courses that are available on the Unacademy. For that, all you need to do is go to the Unacademy website or download the Unacademy Learning app and search my name over there, that is ACT, Once you do that, you will get the access to all the free courses that are available on the Unacademy platform. All right.